It's time. Video. Video time. Time for video. Time for video. Where is your special video? Hello and welcome to another street motion instructional video. This week we are looking at some parkour essentials. In fact, over the next few weeks we're going to be covering different topics around parkour essentials. You know, things you need to be a functioning parkour athlete. This week we're going to be working on landing safely and sort of attitudes towards training and that sort of thing. So we're going to cover the roll and how to stop your roll from hurting. We're going to cover falling from height, and we're also going to cover landing safely for like a less height drop, more of a distance jump. These landing safely tips can also be applied to landing your flips. So let's get into rolls first of all. So the roll is used to disperse impact on landing, and all the impact is, in scientific terms, is the rapid deceleration of an object. That's it. That's all that impact means. So if you're thinking about how to alleviate that impact, all you've got to do is spread that deceleration over time. So in simple terms, instead of stopping quickly and hitting something quickly, you've got to hit it with a little bit of a little bit slowed down. Like, you've got to spread the moment of impact as far as possible. And that's why we roll. Because when we're rolling, we're not just putting the impact through our legs and our body, we're then spreading the impact with the ground across our back and onto our feet again. And that way it's, it being spread out is a lot healthier for your body. So many of you already know how to roll. A lot of you probably know how to roll, but it hurts every time you do it. And I'm going to fix that now. So one of the ways that I learned how to roll properly was I learned about where you're actually supposed to roll. So down your back, you've got lots of bones, your spine's in the middle, you've got your shoulder blades and the backs of your hips there that you've got to avoid, otherwise it hurts a lot. So there's a path diagonally across the back that we call the soft tissue pathway. And what you've got to do is you've got to just follow that pathway and it won't be painful at all. So the way that you find where the soft tissue pathway is that you start as if you've just finished rolling. So like this, as if you're just coming up out of a roll, maybe sitting on the side of your bum there. And what you're going to do is roll backwards, over, slowly, trying to stay away from all of the bumps and bones that you've got in that area. So starting like that, and go back, and then up. And just practice that over and over so that you know how you're going to exit the roll. And when you're ready, when you feel like you've got a comfortable exit, you're going to go back over that way and make it all nice and comfortable on the entry, but in reverse. So and eventually you will start to roll like this naturally. Once you've been practicing it backwards and forwards, I want you to try and do it from standing. You still want to bend your legs to get into the roll, especially to begin with. You might want to sort of jump, land and roll into it. But you can begin to go more from standing, sort of like that. And the key is that you want to slow your body down before you really get into that roll. So using your hands to sort of slow your body down, or if you're jumping off a height, use your legs to slow your body down, then your hands to assist you into the roll. Next up, we're going to talk about the distance jumping aspect, or landing front flips, or landing any flips safely. It's basically any landing where you're not going to roll. Key things that you want to think about with your precision landings are that you land with heels raised, so you land on the balls of your feet. Next thing is that you don't let your knees go in front of your toes in relation to the ground. You take a seated position and then you stand up as if it were a squat. You don't want to go down too low. This puts unnecessary pressure in your knee joint. So if you're going down and your bum's nearly touching the floor, this is wrong. Do not do that. If you're having to go into this sort of froggy squat position, something needs to change because you're not quite getting it. You need to go for sort of, I don't know, whether it's extra height. It will depend on the situation. You've got to find a way to land properly. Otherwise, it's not working. You need to think of something else. So that covers that, I think. Finally, we're going to look at landing safely from height. So I'll go back outside and we'll figure out a location where we can build up the height gradually, because that's one of the key things that you'll want to think about whenever you're training height. You want to build it up in baby steps. So start with something knee height, then maybe waist height, then maybe chest height, and then head height and beyond. But each time you step up the height that you're able to train at, you want to have a long break from height training after that to let your body return to normal. Even though it might not feel like you're doing any damage to your knees through height training, there's a chance that you could be. So leaving some time between height training sessions is going to allow your body that time to adapt and recover to the circumstances you're putting it in. Anybody can believe that they can jump off a roof, and anybody can start jumping off a roof. And maybe a few people can land safely and walk away, but it's going to take training to be able to do all of that and be able to repeat it hundreds of times in the future. I don't know if that made sense. If you want to be a free runner for a long time, be sensible with your training. Train a lot at one height until it feels completely comfortable, and then move up the height until that feels completely comfortable, and then move up and move up and move up, but leave breaks. That's the key thing. But anyway, I'll show you what I mean. Let's go to another location near where I live. So we're here at the next step. I've got a jump here that I'd like to do from the top to the grass down here. I know that I'm going to need to roll, and I know that I need to build it up gradually. The terrain in the middle is filled with nettles, so it's going to be difficult, but I need to find a halfway point so that I know that halfway up I'm comfortable jumping from that height and taking that impact. It's that thing about building it up in baby steps. So I'm just going to put my weight on my back foot and jump from halfway up. Shouldn't be any problem at all. So now we're going to go for the very top, and once again, you're building it up in baby steps. Find a way to make it work so that you're going up safely every step that you take. Hi guys, Future Joe here. A couple of things I missed. I wanted to say, whilst you're in the air, you want to take up a tucked position. It'll give you better air control and you'll be able to control your position as you land. The other thing, you want to land leaning slightly forwards. Personally, I find this helps you sort of spring into the roll at the end. And that's it from me this week. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you found it helpful. Next week we're going to be working on vaults. Check out next week's video, even if you're pretty decent at vaults, because there might be a little nugget, a little tiny, teeny, sweet nug of information or knowledge or technique that you haven't thought of yet that could help you in that Kong Pre that you've been dying to do for months but can't quite make it. You know, we're going to look at all of the vaults in detail. So keep an eye out for that video. It's going to be a longer one, and it should be there should be something for everybody in that video. So check back when you next see my face. It's going to be a useful video. So I will see you then, I guess. Yeah. Goodbye. The terrain in the middle is filled with nettles. Okay.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.